because we are driving the Corvette ZR1. This is that with literally rockets strapped to it. 37 pounds of thrust out of the exhaust. The faster you go, the faster you're accelerating. This has ruined my Z06. The C8 Corvette ZR1 is a combination of utterly insane numbers. 1,064 horsepower, 828 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds, the quarter mile in 9.6 at 150 miles an hour, a top speed of 233 miles an hour. It will do 80 miles an hour to 200 back to 80 in 24.5 seconds. I'm not sure how that stacks up as a benchmark compared to other really fast cars, but I know it is ridiculously quick. But the ZR1 is about more than just the power and straight line speed. This car is about the usability and drivability of 1,000 horsepower. And we're gonna find out what it's like today by driving this ZR1 on the road. We're not on a racetrack, not on a prep surface. We are in the real world experiencing what 1,064 horsepower feels like in a ZR1. Before we hit the road, let me take you on a quick tour of this ZR1 and show you some of the details. So we have a hardtop convertible with the big carbon aero pack. So the more aggressive carbon fiber aero with the utterly gigantic rear wing. We'll check that out when we come around to the rear. But this one does not have the ZTK track package. So you can order a ZR1 with the carbon aero. You do have to add on the ZTK, which gets you the Cup 2R tires. We are on PS4S. But in terms of the overall shape and bodywork, it's largely going to be the same as a Z06 or E-Ray. So the C8 currently has the narrow body version, which is a Stingray, or the Z06 E-Ray ZR1, ZR1X wider body, where it comes out wider here on the front fenders and the rear hips. You also note the carbon aero up front with the canards here, the front splitter. That is all the same as a Z06. A big difference is going to be here, the hood. You no longer have a front trunk. Instead, you have this massive opening here with the mesh and the carbon fiber little wicker piece right here, because that is for cooling and airflow. So it kind of acts like an S-duct where you can channel air through. It does add downforce, allowing for the gigantic rear wing, but all the ZR1s are going to have this hood. If I actually pop it for you, there's no more space anymore, right? So on the rest of the C8s, you can put stuff in there. You can have your backpack in there. I actually use it quite a lot. Not in the ZR1. Instead, you have a gigantic heat exchanger there, and that is it. And like up here, it's all just hexagonal mesh. So this is purely function now. It's no longer any usability. This is all for performance. Go ahead and shut that. But the rest of the front end is going to be the same as a Z06 with the carbon aero. It looks nice and aggressive. The hood does really add to it. That thing is so cool. Now coming around to the side, there's a couple other changes. The big boomerang here is finished in carbon fiber, and you have an opening, an intake here. So all airflow functional. The big ZR1 badge on the side. The wheel tire setup is going to be the same width. We've got carbon ceramic brakes on this one. Now on the coupe, there is a difference. The shoulders right here on the engine cover does have an additional intake. This one doesn't have it because we have a hardtop convertible, so that is a trade-off. Now, this will still make 1,064 horsepower. It's SAE rated. It will do it, but the coupe is just a little bit more optimized for airflow, cooling, power, performance, and they did say in ideal situations, they can make a little bit more power in the coupe. But hardtop convertible does have its perks. You can press a button, hold down a little button, and the roof does come down. Another trade-off of having the convertible is you do not have the split window. The ZR1 brought back the split window. It is a functional heat extraction function thing. It does look really cool too, but not on the convertible. But what we do have is the wing. This wing is just... This is dinner table sized, right? We have the curved end plates on the end. It sticks out beyond the rear bumper by like a good foot. This makes my Z06 with Z07 wing look like a toy, and it is totally functional. It adds downforce. This thing will do 1,200 pounds of downforce, which is a lot. And it's actually functional downforce too, because it actually is noticeable at lower speeds. It's 1,200 pounds at top speed, which is very, very fast. How often are you doing over 200 miles an hour, right? But even at lower speeds, it's registrable. I think it's like 180 pounds at somewhere under 100 miles an hour, and 180 miles an hour is actually also noticeable downforce, so it's functional. But out back we still have the same quad exhaust tips, the same diffuser look right there, the taillights, everything is the same. It's really just the absolutely enormous rear wing and the front hood and then the side boomerangs that'll make you know that this is a ZR1. But this wing, literally I look at it and I'm just like, this makes my Z06 wing look like a toy. It's pretty ridiculous. All right, let's hop inside and go for a drive. Time to have some fun. Let's start off by doing launch control. So foot hard on the brake, floor it. What? This thing is an unhinged maniac. But initial impressions are, it is still somehow civilized? It's very strange to say 1,000+ horsepower rear-wheel drive sports car, supercar can be civilized, but this thing feels controllable. It's drivable. I am by far not a race car driver. I have been able to drive some pretty potent vehicles, but this thing might be the most approachable. While still feeling like you are taking off. My goodness. Yeah, this, oh my gosh, what have they done? At no point of driving my Z06 have I been like, you know, this car feels a little bit slow, it feels underpowered, I need an extra 400 horsepower, but when you have it, it's certainly exhilarating. Let's take a moment to talk about some more of the technical aspects of what the ZR1 is. So this is not just an LT6 with turbo strapped onto it. This was a co-developed engine. They were the Gemini twins, and they were distinct. There are some things that are shared. They're both 5.5 liter flat plane crank V8s, but there is significant changes to ensure this thing is able to handle boost. Lower compression ratio, completely different intake manifold. It's actually smaller. They call it like a turbo manifold. They're trying to optimize the performance of the turbos to eliminate lag. This has a anti-lag system. So essentially when you're off the gas on the track driving hard, it's keeping the turbos spooled up. So when you get back on the gas, you are still good to go and you're going to get the power. They also went to a dual DI-PFI system. So this also has port fuel injectors in addition to the direct injectors for more fuel. Horsepower requires lots of air and lots of fuel, so they went to the DI-PFI, which is similar to what they did on the C7 ZR1s, LT5 versus LT4. You have that secondary set of injectors, 16 total, fueling this engine. Speaking of air, there's some really fun facts that the ZR1 also brings. They say that this thing could empty an Olympic-sized swimming pool in 4 minutes in terms of the air consumption. It's just gulping down air. At full throttle, it produces measurable thrust, 37 pounds of thrust out of the exhaust, which I have never heard an auto manufacturer list that. That's like fighter jet kind of stuff, but it will actually propel you forward with the amount of exhaust coming out the back of it. So there's a lot of mechanical changes to the actual engine. This LT7 is insane, utterly insane. 76 millimeter turbos are the largest on any production car. I mean, the aftermarket does have bigger turbos, but this is an OEM. This is a OEM where they have to go through the durability testing, they warranty a car, and it has just enormous turbos on it, and there's a lot of technology to ensure they know exactly what is going on with the impeller speed, all these various parameters feeding into the complex systems to ensure that you're always getting that power. Now, in terms of the rest of the powertrain, the dual clutch transmission has been beefed up. A lot of various changes to ensure this thing can handle 1,064 horsepower, 828 pound-feet of torque, and what owners are going to put them through, right? Because you shouldn't be taking this just for casual Sunday strolls. You better use the power because you have it, right? It is relentless. It starts making that mountain of torque and it just plateaus at 3,000 RPM. So it's 800 pound-feet of torque from like 3,000 to 7,000, and it will still rev. This thing will rev to 8,000 RPM, a little bit lower than the Z06, but still plenty high. And the crazy thing is they somehow were able to preserve some of the personality of the Z06 flat plane crank V8. I love that engine. That's the highlight for me in my Z06, the LT6, the way it sounds, the way it delivers power. This is that with literally rockets strapped to it. It still has that character, that hard edge sound to it, and you feel it as you just rev it out. It is... I didn't think it was possible to make an engine that I would love more than my Z06 engine, but this thing is just the next level. This makes any McLaren V8, the Mercedes Black Series V8, the 4-liter twin turbo feel mundane. And then the crazy thing is, when you go back into tour mode, so I'm gonna go out of PTM, scroll back over into tour, pop this thing into drive, calms down, it's quiet, it rides well, magnetic ride, you could daily drive this thing. Like, I'm not kidding. You have a 1,000 horsepower car, you could daily drive without a problem. And you can also hear a bit of that turbo spool. Yes, yes, yes. But we're not in this car to do tour mode. So back in the track we go, back into manual. Oh, the turbo spool. This thing is shockingly easy to drive. The brakes are still going to be stupendously strong. Massive carbon ceramic rotors. They actually are offering an upgraded J59 brake from Alcon. They debuted it on the ZR1X, and it's going to be available here for even more braking force, because obviously with speed, you want to be able to stop. But this one, the regular carbon ceramics, is great. And again, we're on PS4S tires. This one has the carbon aero, but it does not have the ZTK. ZTK is how you get ultimate track capability. Just like with the Z06 and the Z07 pack, you end up with Cup 2R tires, Reed 2 suspension. It's gonna be a little bit firmer. But on the real world roads right now, I'm nowhere near the limits of this thing, obviously. I was scared of this. I was scared that I would drive the ZR1 and be like, my Z06 is ruined. And I was clinging on to the hope that, well, Z06 is naturally aspirated, it sounds better, it revs higher, it's more pure. Forget that, turbos are the way. This is the first time there's ever been a turbocharged Corvette. First time ever. They've done superchargers, done obviously naturally aspirated, but they did it properly with a turbo powertrain here. This is the most powerful OEM production American V8 ever, and I'm struggling to think of many V8s that make more power. Yeah, there's W16s from Bugatti that make more, but you have Koenigsegg, you've got SSC, their newest one makes a lot of power, and Hennessy. And none of those are relatively mass volume production cars. You don't just walk into a dealer and get one. Technically, you can't really do that. The ZR1, we'll talk about pricing and scarcity in a moment, but those are like super bespoke, hand-built hypercar projects. This is still a Corvette at the end of the day. And I am in awe. It's kind of wild because sitting here, it feels like my Z06. I'm in a 25 right now. The 2026 we were driving earlier changed with the new screens. You have the added screens and they redid the layout. The Great Wall of Buttons is gone. But this one honestly feels like I'm in my Z06. You just happen to have an extra 400 horsepower, right? Honestly, I am shocked at how easy this car is to drive and how much power I have. This is crazy. This is easily McLaren 765 LT performance pace, anything from Ferrari short of their top tier hypercars. I wouldn't doubt being able to keep up with GT Black Series, Porsche GT2 RS, anything from Lamborghini. Yeah. Oh, and that's where we get to the price. Because at MSRP, this thing is just unfathomably good. Base price for a ZR1 Coupe, 1LZ, $175,000. I mean, I originally thought when I heard the power numbers and the capabilities, and I was like, all right, you know, they can crack into the 200, 250 range, right? And then we get the base price 175. You're like, what? What? So it goes 1LZ, 3LZ. 3LZ is going to be a bit more expensive. I think it's 10 grand more. Hardtop convertible is an extra 10 grand, so 185 starting. And a 3LZ brings you some more of the creature comforts, the nicer sound system. You can add on carbon fiber. Now the big carbon aero is 8,500, and then ZTK is 1,500. So it's 10K for ultimate track version. So technically, if you just wanted a track beast, you could have it for under $200,000. Now, the elephant in the room is there is markup. We know that. It's just a reality, supply and demand. It happened when the C8 Z06 came out, and those went back to normal price. You can buy a Z06 at or under MSRP now. Used ones have dropped in price because it's a regular Corvette. It's a track-focused super special car, regular Corvette. It happens with everything, GT3s, 3RS, whatever, right? Now, ZR1s are currently commanding quite a hefty premium. I think I saw one actually transact for 400, so it's about 200K over. I've seen them listed for even more than that, right? So that's like silly money. At $500,000, I mean, to me, it's like, is it worth it? Is it the performance? Absolutely. But it's like, it's the insult of that's not what the manufacturer said it's supposed to cost. So at MSRP, I mean, I would pay 200 grand for one of these, like, no hesitation. No doubt whatsoever, right? But they're not going for that, and that is a shame. Now, predicting the future prices, I can't do that. If I did, I'd be a billionaire. I'd go predict the stock market, right? But I think ZR1s are going to hold because they're going to keep the production lower. If we follow the formula of previous generation, C7 for sure, production was relatively low for rarity. They want to ensure that the ZR1 stays the most prestigious top tier king of the hill. Now, there's a fun other caveat to consider that we've never had before. This is no longer the top Corvette, right? The ZR1X is here. The ZR1X adds even more power with the hybrid front-wheel drive system, so it's all-wheel drive. They've amped it up a little bit from the E-Ray, so it's 1,250 horsepower, as if 1,064 was not enough, 60 in under 2 seconds, quarter mile under 9 seconds. Like, what? And it now holds the American production car track record at the Nurburgring. But it's hybridized. And I know there are some people who are purists and they want pure internal combustion, which this represents the top. So it's gonna be super fascinating, super interesting to see how it goes. The ZR1X, I haven't driven yet. This is our first time driving the ZR1. And the sheer hilarity of this one, I'm already amazed by. I cannot imagine adding the electrified front wheels to give you even more low-end torque and even more grip. Because I'm shocked. Off the line, I've launched the ZR1 a couple times already, and it just goes. Like, relatively drama-free as an explosive 1,000 horsepower supercar can be. It feels contained, controlled. So like, all-wheel drive, yeah, it'll make it even quicker. But where the ZR1X doesn't actually make that big of a difference is if you actually look at the Nürburgring times. So let's talk about the ring times. Just came out recently. Kind of stole the Mustang GTD's thunder because GTD held it as the fastest production American car, and then Corvette went, all right, give the trophy to us. ZR1X owns it at 649 and change. This ZR1 does 650. So over the course of a massive, nearly 7-minute long lap, dozens and dozens of turns, the X only is about 1.5 seconds quicker. To me, that's like a rounding error over that long of a track, right? So it's because at higher speeds, the the electric motor isn't contributing anymore, right? It cuts out at a certain speed, and you've seen the ZR1. I mean, they're sustaining silly speeds for a very, very long time. So it doesn't make as big of a difference on shorter tracks when you're launching it, things like that. It is going to make a bigger difference, and I am quite excited to see what that thing is like. But back to the ZR1, specifically the ZR1. People were going on about how, oh, you know, this is double the horsepower of a GT3 RS, and it's barely quicker around the ring, like similar time or whatever. And it's valid. You can't ignore that. But that's also Porsche's backyard. The German manufacturers, that's home for them. They develop a lot over there. It's a big feat to send an American OEM over there, their teams, to get out there. It's an enormous endeavor in order to set an official Nurburgring lap time. If you look at some of the other lap records that ZR1 grabbed, VIR, Road America, I mean, it's beating 3RS by multiple seconds. It's beating McLaren's Senna. So the credentials of this car are indisputably stratospheric, and I knew it was going to be fast. There's no way you can make 1,000 horsepower not fast, right? But like, it's the feel, the experience of flooring it and taking it through some of these turns, and how approachable it is. They were all saying like, you're going to be surprised how easy it is to drive. I'm like, cool, but I'm going to probably still be a little bit scared. 1,000 horsepower, you know, it's pretty crazy, ballistic. The thing is like, fine, like civilized, which is shocking and an engineering achievement. Still makes the sound, the vibrating feeling. Oh, listen to those pops. Today is a good day because we are driving the Corvette ZR1. I'm gonna do launch control again because I want to. All right, launch control again. There's like a moment of hesitation. It's rolling on. It's definitely boost by gear. You are not getting full boost, full power until you're probably the third gear. But it's one of those things where the faster you go, the faster you're accelerating. That's what these modern, super high horsepower boosted cars are like. They have to be that way. Because if you gave it max power, it would just blow the tires off. Any gear, any RPM, doesn't matter. Jeez. Yeah, all right. Chevy engineers, you guys win. This has ruined my Z06. Wow. There we go. First time driving the Corvette ZR1 in the real world, not on a racetrack. It's as usable as 1,000 horsepower can be. Obviously, they'd be very cognizant of the fact that you're still in a 1,000 horsepower rear-wheel drive car, and it is stupendously quick, but shockingly approachable, comfortable, drivable, usable. And I want one. Oh, great. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my first drive in the Corvette ZR1, seeing what Chevrolet's engineers have created, and it is an absolute monster. Oh my gosh. Effortless speed, effortless speed. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.